My name is Hitomi. I met my husband of the same age, and we ended up getting married about a year after we met. I guess it's what you call a speedy marriage. Shortly after, we had twin boys, and I was supposed to have a hard but happy life with my husband and our 2-year-old twins, but how did this happen? One day, I found out that my husband was having an affair. The other woman was a stranger, but she was about my age. My husband wanted nothing more than to be with the woman he was having an affair with. He left me and our 2 kids and left home.
I'll grasp my own happiness. You do your best too. I'll give you custody. What is this letter?
With the sudden affair and divorce, I didn't have time to think about asking for alimony or having a proper discussion about child support. My ex-husband had an affair and left us, and he never once cared about the kids from over there. Not once did he leave a dime for diapers, not once did he pay child support. I don't know what to do. I have to raise these kids. I have to get a job right away. But in the meantime, who's going to take care of them? I could only think about raising the twins I had left. It was difficult enough to raise one kid alone while working, so I decided to take my 2 kids and return home to my parents. I worked hard every day with the help of my parents and my sister and her family who lived nearby. Fortunately, the twins were only naughty up until the start of elementary school, perhaps out of concern for me. What if I put stress on my kids? What if I created an environment where they couldn't say what they wanted to say? Every day I ask myself such questions, and yet every day I work for these kids. As I was desperately going about my daily life, I realized that the kids had entered the 3rd grade of junior high school. Then, in the winter, when my child was in 3rd grade, I suddenly got a call from my ex-husband. A call that hadn't come in 15 years. I answered anyway. Hello?
Hello? Is this a good time?
What are you doing calling me out of the blue after all this time?
Are you still mad at me? I'm sorry I left so abruptly, but I have something important to tell you.
You think I'm still mad at you? I'm not mad. But let's listen to what he has to say. So, what is it?
Well, I have a child from my 2nd marriage, and he's 4 years old.
Oh, yeah? And?
Well, he's got this really bad disease, and he needs an organ transplant.
I see. Well, that's a tough break for you.
My wife and I both had trouble getting a match, so I thought, if it's my kid, then maybe it'll fit.
So, you're asking for an organ donation from my kids?
That's really the only way. I beg you, please, just get tested to see if it's a match. There's 2 of them, so I think there's a good chance.
Huh, this guy. He must really love his 4-year-old son. What is this man who abandoned his 2-year-old twin kids saying? If my sons have an organ transplant, the damage to their bodies would be big. There's no way I can go that far for a man who left his own children for a woman with no consequences. I don't owe him anything. Even if I did owe him a favor, it's a hard decision to make. Absolutely not. Why should my child go to such lengths for your child?
But my 4-year-old son's life is at stake!
Please find someone else, because I'm not letting my kids do that.
Please, just take the test!
You're so persistent. When the conversation started going in circles, I forced myself to hang up the phone. It had been a while since he contacted me, and he starts making demands like that? I wasn't expecting anything, but I was indeed annoyed by that request. But apparently my ex-husband had not given up. My ex-husband contacted me several times after that. Using all sorts of tricks, he was insistent on asking if I could just let them take a test. My kids are in the process of preparing for high school entrance exams. Considering this, it was undesirable for anyone outside to make a fuss, and I wanted my ex-husband to keep quiet for the time being. I'll shut him up. And so I decided to have the kids take the test, just like they would for a physical checkup. After a while, the test results were returned. The test results have been returned. Yes, let's meet at a family restaurant in front of the station then. With the results, I went to the family restaurant where my ex-husband and his wife were waiting. I hope they're satisfied with this. So, you already got the results, right?
How did it go?
I put out a piece of paper on the table with the test results on it. Yes, I got the results. In conclusion, it seems like there's a 75% chance it matches. Thank God! 75% is a relief!
That's what siblings do. My kids are identical, so that makes 2. That's great!
My baby will be saved by this! Oh, I'm so glad, thank you so much! My ex-husband and his partner started rejoicing as soon as they heard the results. What are you mistaken about? I'm not going to let them donate their organs.
What?
Did I mishear you? What did you just say? We can't donate any organs. My boys are about to take their high school entrance exams. I already hate the fact that someone who abandoned his 2-year-old twins and wife is asking for a favor. But what are you thinking of doing with these kids at such an important time on top of that? My ex-husband and his partner looked at me like they didn't expect me to say no. After a few seconds of pause, the remarried partner went crazy and grabbed me. Hey, don't be silly! What do you mean, don't be silly? I'm very serious. I know you hate me, but the kid has nothing to do with this. Yeah, then what do my kids have to do with this? Why did you think your son would benefit from this? You're the ones who stole a man with a child and didn't pay alimony. I don't have any grudge or hatred against her. As a matter of fact, I didn't care about them. But I must have been storing up a lot of things because the words were coming out so smoothly.
Please! This has nothing to do with me or my kids!
Please, it's my precious child. I finally had it 40. Her anger gradually turned to tears. She got down on her knees on the spot and asked me for the favor. This is a family restaurant. It seemed like nothing I say is registering with his partner. I decided to explain it to my ex-husband, who still seemed a little calm. My children are taking exams right now. What are you going to do if something happens to my kids because of this injury to their bodies at this time of the year?
Well...
I have to protect them, just like you have to protect yours. So I can't help you. As expected, my ex-husband was nodding his head, as if he couldn't find the words to say anything back. But his partner showed no sign of giving up. I knew it! She's just going to let our child die! I bet you think it's good karma. I don't care enough about you guys to think that. Liar! You're just trying to get back at me for taking your husband away from you. Is that how you behave when you ask someone for a favor? What? You took the test just to give us hope. I'll hate you for the rest of my life. They ignored us and our kids until now, and just after our kids turned 15 years old, they asked us to help them with an organ transplant. Why did they think they had the right to hold a grudge against us? If you're going to resent me or my kids, why don't you resent yourself for not giving birth to a healthy child? I knew it was a taboo thing to say, but I was so disgusted by his partner's words that I couldn't help but say it out loud. Hearing my words, the partner turned red and choked on her words. I hope your child gets well, if you'll excuse me. With that, I turned to leave. Hey, wait a second! The woman grabbed me, so I quickly shook off her arm. Ow! It looked like the bag hit her in the face as I shook her arm off. I took advantage of the time and held her face and pulled back.
Hey!
I threw my receipt for the kids' exam at my ex-husband, who approached me as if to say something. I will not charge you for this, but please don't contact me or the kids again in exchange. After saying that, I left the place. I haven't heard from him since then, so I don't know what happened to his son with his second partner. My son's high school entrance exams were over, and they both got into the schools they wanted to go to. Congratulations to both of you for passing. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks, Mom. It's thanks to you for letting us study so freely. By the way, that test, what was it all about? They said it was a physical exam, but I looked it up, and it was about an organ donation or something. Have we already had our organs harvested?
Of course not. I'm sorry, I didn't want to explain it to you because I thought it would interfere with your exams. The kids were curious and asked me about that time. I told them I didn't want a scalpel to be inserted into their healthy bodies during their critical time and the infections it might cause.
Our dad didn't contact us for 13 years, and now he's asking for our organs? He's insane! He has to pay us alimony first, and Mom's hairdressing bill!
It's messy and I cut it myself all the time.
When we're in high school, we can get part-time jobs. Would that make things a little easier for you?
Oh, what are you talking about? Studying is work in high school. So is making friends. This is your 3 precious years, so don't you worry about getting a part-time job.
But we might make friends at our part-time job. And we'll learn a lot about society too, right? Yeah, I'm sure that'll be one of the most precious days of your life too.
Oh, you guys are so quick to say nice things.
I want to be a lawyer in the future. I want to help people like Mom who are left with kids. Oh, that's so cool! Let's have a race to see who passes the bar exam first! Come on, I said something nice. You ruined it.
Truly, my sons are too good for me. Yes, well, you'll have to study hard for that then. Mom will do her best too. I'm so grateful to my parents and my sister and her husband for supporting me to get this far. I'll send these children out into society properly. Believing that this would be one way to repay them, I decided to continue working hard for them both.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!